I'm Jamie. I work on the product partnerships team for the Google Assistant.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And what has you really excited about the conversational space?
I think the new surfaces that are coming out today, so the combination of the software, so the Assistant platform and the new devices is what's really exciting. Once people really get to be really comfortable with this technology, I think that's when it gets really exciting because it's not just interacting with one device and using it in one sense for a game or for news or for something like that. It actually becomes a part of your daily habit. So it becomes part of turning on the lights and then going into your car and doing something else. And I feel like that's when the utility really kicks in, when it's special when it's consistent.
I feel exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I can stop remembering it's around, then it's doing its job perfectly.
For sure.
And as soon as the two come together for Surface and
that's where the magic is.
Voice, I think that's perfect.
Okay, cool.
How about in the next 5 years, what's the biggest problem that you see that's going to be solved?
Sure. Solved with the technology or the...
Potentially, or something new that comes into the space, like, for example, the Surface is coming in and really being integrated, like something like a mirror, where you can talk into the world and then it backlights your mirror and you get to see the news, right?
Yeah.
Something along those lines, or your daily commute.
I think it's, as I mentioned earlier, I think what's really cool is that it's no longer just a Google Home thing in your house. So what you can do in your car with Android Auto, what you can do with Android TV, that interactivity is kind of the next wave of what you can do with these voice platforms. It's not just talking to your phone or just talking to a device. It's actually much more interactive. I feel like that's where the future is. But I think from like what's the biggest challenge that we have to get over, I think it's an education thing, to be really transparent. It's a lot about educating developers on how to build these experiences in these new modalities, but it's also about educating consumers. If they don't know that an application exists, how are they supposed to, who's going to invite them to the party? So we need to educate consumers on which parties to go to, and then also educate brands and retailers and our partners on how to invite people there. I think that's actually our biggest challenge, to be honest.
Can you describe that aha moment that you had with the conversational space, maybe before you got into it?
Sure.
What was that moment that really hooked you?
That's a really good one. I think the ability to do simple things really well with this new interface is really exciting. So even saying something like, "Hey Google, play this song on Spotify," it's really exciting that stuff works. Or when you say, "Hey Google, turn on the lights," the ability to understand which room you're in and all of that context is really magical. And like those are the things that seem really easy to get right, but actually make people's lives easier. And I feel like some platforms have gotten that piece better than others. Some understand natural language processing better than others. And I feel like that's our bread and butter at Google. But it's really exciting as a user. Like that stuff works. You don't have to say everything, which is exciting.
Yeah, the technology goes away.
Yeah, it just becomes a person.
Like 2 seconds and you turned off your entire house.
For sure, exactly.
You don't have to walk around.
Exactly. It's cool.
Yeah, that's my.
Yeah.
I can't wait until it all just
works.
Is there but goes away.
Yeah.
That'll be the perfect moment.
For sure.
And then this one is, quite frankly, off the wall.
Okay,
but
go for it.
If you got to ask your users one question and you got it answered definitively, so you knew no BS about the answer, what would you ask your users?
I would like to understand what they're scared of with an assistant. Is it a breach in data? Is it that they're scared it just feels intrusive? I would like to really understand the resistance actually around using some of this technology, because some people are really, really leaned in, and I think that's awesome. And I'm actually curious to understand why they trust it so much. And inversely, I think it's a really, really big kind of like nut for us to crack to understand why people don't trust us or don't trust assistants in general. I think that's important.
Yeah, it'll crack the industry open.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you can address it.
Exactly. So. Which is a hard thing to talk about.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Nobody wants to talk about it. I'm probably going to get killed by my boss for talking about it. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be fun. And that's all I have for you.
Okay, cool.
Well, thank you for doing this.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me.